I'm driving the Ford Escape plug-in hybrid. It's got a lot of great things going for it, and one thing that might keep it off your shopping list, and it's not the all-electric range. The latest version of the Ford Escape has the usual signs of running on gasoline. It also has this. It's a plug-in hybrid. This text seems to confuse consumers. It's one of the reasons why the Chevy Volt wasn't wildly successful and why Chrysler doesn't call the Pacifica hybrid a plug-in. The concept is simple enough. Charge the battery and this Escape can run on electricity only 37 miles according to the EPA rating. Once the pack is spent, it defaults to a regular hybrid dynamic with a total range of 520 miles. Ford has dropped off a loaded top-trim titanium model with an as-tested retail price of $43,000. There's actually a solid reason to skip the standard Escape hybrid and go with this, because if you take advantage of the $6,800 federal tax credit that's only available on the plug-in, it's actually less expensive by almost $2,000. Unfortunately, this one is not available with all-wheel drive, where the standard hybrid is. It's not like Escape's platform doesn't support it. The Lincoln Corsair Grand Touring has all-wheel drive. Unfortunately, its gateway price is $9,000 more than the titanium here, and Corsair climbs to nearly $60,000 with all the goodies. Budget buyers might look at Toyota RAV4 Prime, plus the Hyundai Tucson and Kia Niro plugins. The 2.5-liter four-cylinder that runs the Atkinson cycle makes 165 horsepower on its own. Add in the motor generator, and there's a total of 200 horsepower. Ford doesn't offer torque figures. There's really no sound when hitting the awkwardly placed ignition, but it's been pretty cold, so even with a charged battery, the four-cylinder tends to kick on. Now that's in the normal mode, which is the default. I'll explain this in a minute. Escape can be forced into EV-only performance, a hold mode to save the battery power for later, or use the gas engine to charge the battery, which is not very efficient. The transmission is an electronic continuously variable unit. The L setting is for a slightly more aggressive regeneration setting when coasting. There are no steering wheel paddles like some EVs. Like so many vehicles, there are drive modes. Escape has more than most, and the graphics are pleasant enough so you might just scroll through them from time to time. The 14.4 kilowatt-hour battery is mounted in the floor right around here. The Escape fully charges from a standard 120 household outlet in about 10 hours. Using 240 level 2, it drops to just over 3. Now, the gas side of this powertrain doesn't just eliminate range anxiety. There's also less need to install expensive level 2 charging like this at home. Personally, I charge the two plugins that I own on 120 and almost always have a full battery when charging overnight. And the argument that hauling a heavy gas engine around isn't a good one, a huge EV pack weighs more. The downside of plugins is that you have to maintain a gas engine. Owners will probably want to use the electric-only setting as much as possible to get the most efficiency out of this powertrain. But keep in mind that it's not using the gas engine, so in this setting, it's not going to be as quick off the line. Also, there's weight. At 3,880 pounds, it's 470 more than a front-drive gas-only four-cylinder Escape. This is fine for city driving because electric motors have a lot of torque and it feels quicker than it is. Now, if you put it into normal mode and put your foot hard into the throttle, the engine will spool up because you asked it to. I did a test with a fully charged battery in normal mode. The engine kicked on for 5 miles on a trip of 39. It's a lazy way of driving electric with extra mid-range power when needed. Speed Racer should go with the gas-only turbo four-cylinder Escape that'll dash to 60 miles an hour in around 6 seconds. This one is closer to 8 or 9, but it's a smooth experience and much more efficient. The EPA rates the all-electric range of the Escape plug-in hybrid at 37 miles. Now, battery technology being what it is, and it being cold in the Puget Sound area this week, I'm seeing closer to 32, and on the highway, pushing it hard, closer to 30. According to EPA estimates, RAV4 Prime will give you an extra 5 miles at 42. Tucson's electric range is rated at 33 miles, Nero's at 26. Once the battery is depleted in the Escape plug-in hybrid, it defaults to a standard hybrid mode. No fuss, no muss. You don't have to do anything. The EPA rates it at 40 miles per gallon in this setting. Pretty good for a vehicle this size. The 3-cylinder gas-only Escape averages 30 miles per gallon. Man, Escape has a lot of different powertrain options. While the plug-in is hefty, it doesn't feel all that heavy. It's an easy vehicle to pilot. It's comfortable without being sloppy. Escape isn't overly exciting to drive, but, it's kind of fun if you chuck it hard into a corner. Body movements are well controlled. There's actually some road feel coming up through the steering wheel. The suspension is a little bit on the firm side, and when you hit rough pavement, there is some slight bucking and porpoising, but that's the worst I can come up with. Like many hybrids, there's a flow chart showing what the powertrain is doing. Visibility is good too. On the whole, road noise is about average. Now, when you're puttering around in the city at slower speeds, and my mics are not sensitive enough to pick this up, you will hear some electric whirring and all. It's kind of common. This bothers some people, most people it doesn't. I'm just pointing it out. Pay attention on your test drive. In some modes, it almost sounded like a siren in the distance. The electronic continuously variable transmission does not give you that rubbery dynamic that you might think a CVT gives you. And there's kind of a cool braking coach here. I'm going to stop nice and easy to get a good score. Not bad. And I will say that the pedal feel when you're going from regenerative braking to the actual physical disc brakes is really good in this vehicle. All Escape plug-in hybrids come standard with Copilot 360, which is an active electronic safety suite that includes automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection, blind spot warning, and lane keep assist. Optional on most models, but standard on Titanium is Copilot 360 Assist Plus. It adds automated parking, adaptive cruise control, and a very solid lane centering system that takes gentle curves on the highway all by itself. Please keep in mind that this technology is only meant to assist you. It is not self-driving. None of it is. It can take over for short amounts of time, but you really do need to pay full attention. The powertrain is quite good, the cabin's interior look is average, and this is the Titanium, as good as it gets in Escape. Plus, this one is equipped with a $2,500 premium package that replaces synthetic leather with the real stuff and adds this big glass roof. Funny how polarizing this trim is. Some passengers found it convincing and elegant, others see fake and cheap. I just don't see $4,300 worth of goodness in here, though if you like the Puma stripe, there's this. It's functional in here, though. There are a bunch of places to stash all your stuff away, and the cubbies are well sized. The seat cushions are on the longer side. Maybe a bit too much for the very petite, says my wife. These are heated, not vented. The wheel is toasty too. Vents have a particularly hefty feel. Escape runs the Sync 3 user interface, which is not as responsive or as intuitive as Sync 4. There's a volume knob and big buttons to help out. The charge pad is good to have when using Bluetooth for phone and streaming audio, but using the standard Android Auto and Apple CarPlay requires a cord, just so you know. The Bang & Olufsen system is quite good if you demand premium sound.
I see you found the sliding back seats.
Yes, I did.
I know you like them.
Oh, you want to know about the back seat? Well, did I mention it adjusts for maximum cargo room, maximum legroom, headroom? Headroom is decent. So is knee, leg, and foot room, obviously. That's adjustable. The door openings are big enough so that car seats go in and out without too much problem. And the cushions are high enough for thigh support, but they are on the short side. You're not going to want to put a hot cup of coffee in the door pocket, but it's good for a bottle of water. And my pet peeve, no pocket here. There is one here. Kids are going to fight over that. This is the fancy titanium model and no heated seats back here. That's too bad. No separate climate zone. There are adjustable vents. That's nice. The airflow a little bit on the skimpy side though. Charge your phone up? Sure can. The center spine, not that intrusive, so 3 adults will have plenty of headroom. Will you want 3 adults back here? Yeah, it's okay for shorter trips, but as I always say, keep it to 2 and people will be a lot happier. And they can do this. When it comes to design, Generation 3 is sleek and urbane with clean, simple lines, a bit anonymous, more svelte European than rugged American. It leaves the outdoorsy look to brother Bronco Sport, which can't be had with any kind of hybrid powertrain. Like the interior, the outside doesn't convey a titanium level of swagger, it appears mid-grade. It also doesn't shout about its plug-in hybrid powertrain. There's just this tiny badge and the extra fuel door. Ford says it designed Escape more for women. Seems to me that these days, women kind of like a tougher look. It's one of the reasons why they don't like minivans, but I'm sure Ford has the data and the marketing smarts to back that up, right? Bronco Sport and Escape are built on the same architecture. The Bronco-ette holds 8 packs of my measurement metric, but it has a squared off back end, which is a lot more cargo friendly. That's why standardized testing rocks. The hybrid Escapes have 3 less cubic feet back here because of the battery location. The 12-volt battery is located here. A spare tire? Hello? Where are you? Aha, just a repair kit. While there are a few extras to keep things useful back here, there's no 40-20-40 split option or pass-through, and dropping the seat backs means a trip to the back doors in case you do that a lot. In maximum cargo mode, you're looking at nearly 61 cubic feet with a load floor that isn't quite flat. RAV4 Prime has 63. Raise the backs and there's as little as 30.7 or as much as 34.5 cubic feet, depending on how much legroom passengers get out of the sliding seat. I set them halfway and it scores an 8, same as the Bronco Sport and RAV4 Prime. And yes, the powered tailgate will close all by itself. Let's wrap this up. It's red light, green light time. Green light, the plug-in hybrid powertrain that's smooth and efficient. While not a sports car, Escape is a very agreeable machine to drive for its intended audience. The fact that the plug-in powertrain can actually cost less than the regular Escape hybrid, especially if your state has incentives. Yellow lights, the powertrain does its job well, but there are some odd sounds coming from the system if you listen closely. The cargo space is roomy, it's just rudimentary, no pass-through or remote seatback releases, and no spare tire. The Sync 3 interface is just fine, but I know that there's a Sync 4, and it's better. Red lights, want an all-wheel drive plug-in? Cue the sad trombone sound, it's for Lincoln only and RAV4 Prime. Every Escape I've been in looks like the accountants bullied the designers. And overall, I don't think this lives up to the titanium branding. It just doesn't feel rich enough to earn the name. Many buyers don't yet feel comfortable taking long trips in a pure electric vehicle, even though both the range of EVs and the charging infrastructure are growing. For those who haven't experienced an electric car, I get it. Plug-in hybrids are a great way for people to dip their toe into the electric vehicle lifestyle if they're afraid to jump all the way in. And you have to remember that if you plug it in every night, and that's important, you're getting around 11,000 miles of all-electric range annually. That's not too shabby. The EPA says this will save owners $5,000 in fuel costs over 5 years. I've driven plug-ins with all-electric ranges of only 12 miles, which is kind of worthless. Something in the mid-30s is a much more valuable proposition. Like any vehicle, assess your needs and buy the one that works for your lifestyle. The Ford Escape plug-in hybrid is a pleasant, practical, and efficient machine, if not an exciting one. There is a debate on plug-ins and how clean they really are, partly because, since they don't need to be plugged in, some owners don't. If the range is really short, then yeah, I can see that happening. Dan Neal wrote an excellent column on this. I'm providing a link in the description that I think will get you around the Wall Street Journal paywall. Recommended reading. For what it's worth, my wife and I are very diligent about charging ours. She has a Chevy Volt that can go about 50 miles on a charge. My Cadillac ELR goes closer to 35 in the real world. She typically buys around 2 tanks of gas a year. I buy one since I'm always driving other people's cars. This being the end, of course, it's time for the fun fact, and this time it's all about the Ford logo. Have you ever wondered, is that really Henry Ford's signature? Chances are no, and if it is, it's very loosely based. The script was designed by Ford's chief engineer and designer. Apparently, he also did business cards and calligraphy. And it's not always been in an oval, and it hasn't always been blue. That happened in 1927. There you go, there's your fun fact. Another reason to subscribe to this channel. Time to go. Somebody is getting broken into just down the road. Maybe this isn't a safe neighborhood. Thanks for watching. That's Driven. I'm Tom Voelk.
GoPros, gotta love them.